What's up guys, Fohammer here, and today, per request of a few viewers, I am going to do a gearbox takedown. This particular gearbox is a custom build by me using a VFC base. I thought about doing an entire rifle takedown, but I feel like that's been done. Not that a gearbox takedown hasn't been done plenty, but you can find an entire rifle takedown anywhere, and I don't feel like stripping one of my rifles down. So I have this gearbox just laying around. I have parts ordered to make a full gun out of it, and when those get here, I might do a video of the assembly. But right now we're just going to do a gearbox takedown. So what first thing you do is you're going to take a pick or something. On your VFCs, you have this notch here that gives you anti-reversible latch access. So when you strip your gun down, odds are you've encountered a malfunction, or you just want to trade out parts. So if your gears have grabbed your piston, then there's tension on the spring. So when you go to open the gearbox up, the spring will try to pop back, and it can make your day of taking rough. So you just take a little pick or a screwdriver or something and insert it into the slot, and then you pull the anti-reversible latch back. I've already tripped this one. I just wanted to show you all that step first. What that will do is let the gears go so the piston rests forward, and you don't have to worry about any of that. Pull all your screws out. I'm not going to be able to do this backwards, so because I like this gearbox, and doing it backwards might make me break it. So most of your VFC older gen gearboxes have 8 screws, 4 in the bottom, 4 in the top. I've not had the chance to really mess around with the newer generation gearboxes. I can't remember if they I don't remember if they started only doing 3 in the bottom, or if they had an extra. Like, it seems to me like there's not 8 screws, there's more or less. I don't remember which. But anyway, I digress. So once you pull your 8 screws out, you're going to take a smaller type screwdriver, and in this back here where your spring guide is, you're going to thread it in and then lift up. And then there you have it. So what you have here is internals. So you have your spring guide, and then you have piston head, and then tappet spring, tappet plate, air nozzle, cylinder head, and cylinder. So the way these work, for those of you who don't know, is your motor, which rests in your pistol grip. My screws. So your motor sets in your pistol grip, and then the pinion gear here contacts the bevel gear here, like so. So that when you spin, or well, not you spin, so that when you pull the trigger and your battery makes the motor spin, it turns bevel gear, which turns your spur gear, which turns your sector gear. Your sector gear grabs your piston by the teeth here, pulls the piston back, which compresses the spring, and then when the last tooth of the sector releases the last tooth of the piston goes forward through your cylinder, creating air pressure, and as it is feeding the BB with the tappet plate and the air nozzle, scoot that back, this chip here, which I don't know if you can see, that black raised edge on the sector, grabs a hold of the tappet plate, funnels it back, which then slides forward, and that chambers your BB into your hop up. And then when the piston's released, the air pressure hits the BB, sends it down the barrel after contacting or bucking and so on and so forth. That's how you get hot, and that's how you fire the projectile. So to that extent, there's your gears. You have, which this is Crytac 8mm bearings. Apparently, according to the text in the forums, Crytac bearings are some of the best bearings you can get outside of Japanese J-caged bearings or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't have access to those. I have access to Crytac bearings. So I replaced the regular steel bushings with Crytac bearings. What else? Your wiring. This is a Gate Titan MOSFET, which to me is the best MOSFET on the market, and a Retro Arms Type B trigger, which you can see here, which I have to put back because it popped out. So the way that works is the Titan is an optical sensory MOSFET, so that when it senses the trigger pass over the sensors, it then sends juice to the motor, which causes that whole cycle. Titans are not cheap. Basic Titans just for the MOSFET are $90, and they don't do all the really cool little features. The advanced versions I think are $120 for just the MOSFET, and then the entire kit that will come with the MOSFET, the programming card, and the USB link for your computer, I believe is up to $160. Like the price really went up. When these first came out, I believe they were $130 for the entire kit, and then as popularity increased, so did the price, which I'm not a big fan of, but it is what it is. So one last little piece in here is your anti-reversal latch. And what your anti-reversal latch does is stops your gears from backspinning on themselves. So if you don't have an anti-reversal latch, your gun, it will fire, but it's going to backspin almost every time, and it causes this really nasty grinding sound and really hurts the performance of your gun. So always make sure your anti-reversal latch is installed, which, if I can get the angle good, I will show you how to do. Okay, so this is the anti-reversal latch. This is your bevel gear. These teeth here are where the anti-reversal latch clicks in. So you have your teeth up here for your pinion, your anti-reversal latch teeth, and then your spare teeth. And the way your anti-reversal latch works is there's a little spring on it, like so. So it goes in, you know, pull it back. I'm going to readjust these shims real quick. Pull it back. And you take the post of the bevel, stick it in like that, click it once to make sure it's in right, and there you have it. That is the components to an M4 gearbox. Mind you, this is an old generation VFC that is entirely upgraded. The only stock parts in this gun currently are the anti-reversal latch and the spring guide and the shell itself. Everything else has been upgraded. with Lonex. The entire compression series minus the piston is Lonex, including the tappet plate. I've cut the tappet plate because when I don't use this motor, it gives me feeding issues because it's high speed, because the gears are SHS 12 to 1s. So I run a high speed motor in it that gives me really amazing trigger response when combined with the Titan. But it cycles too fast to feed properly. So I put a delayer chip on it. Because the SHS gears here, without the chip, it's just a little post and it doesn't catch enough. So combining with trimming the tappet plate fin and putting the sector delayer on there, it makes it feed correctly. Now to reassemble, disclaimer, I am not the best tech in the world. I'm not a professional tech. I build my stuff works for me. So if anybody that's been building for years and wants to go about efficiency and all that, you can bite me. Take a screwdriver, push your spring guide in. Always hold your compression down once you put your spring in, because these pop out like rockets and can damage anything fragile. Glasses. Actually, what was I working on? I was working on something with a quick change. Oh, it was a Lonex M4 for a friend, and the way Lonex does their quick change springs is they're like, hold up, let me get a screw in this and I'll show you how long they are. Because they feed in directly through the buffer tube, so you don't need to disassemble the gun to change springs. So I'm putting an M130 in his gun, M130 spring in his gun. Shit, we're gonna have to open this back up because I forgot this tappet spring. But anyway, so I'm trying to take this quick change spring guide out, and it's like this long and looks like a little metal baton. Like you could whoop some ass with these things. And I tried to lock it down, and it didn't lock all the way. So when I pulled my Allen key out, it shoots out and shot out and landed on my glass of sweet tea that was sitting on the table adjacent to me, and broke that all to hell and spilled tea everywhere. And lovely night. So always double check you have all your little springs lined up correctly, and you reassemble, as you just saw here, because without that spring, the tappet plate will not return forward, which will not return your air nozzle forward, which means you don't shoot. Well, I suppose you do, but you don't shoot BBs. So the way that goes on, just take your little spring, hook it onto the hook here, hook, grab spring, lay all that back in there like so. Make sure your piston is lined up correctly. And you just take your little hook and you hook the spring onto this post. Which can sometimes be annoying. I find flathead screwdrivers are easier to do it with. There we go. Alright, now that that's on, here you do the process. Pistons in correctly, all that looks good, all my little springs are in. You just quit talking later. Alright, so whenever I assemble a gearbox, I always put the front down first, just so the holes for the cylinder line up. And then take my little screwdriver, as you can see it's popped up here, and I just press down, which lines the spring guide up. Then you press down, and it all goes together. Does it go together that smoothly every time? No. Most of the time, after practice for 3 years now, yes. And then you just put all your little screws back in. You're good to go.